that's all I have to say. Julie and John are going to introduce Audioflux.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hi, everyone. Hi. How are you all? Thanks to IMI, Stuart and Elaine, and their amazing team for having us here today. This is my favorite thing in the world to do, which is listen to audio in a group setting with friends, and friends new and old, I would say. So, okay, here we go. Everybody ready? This is John DeLore.
This is Julie Shapiro.
And we are kind of recent new best friends, I would say. But we have been involved with audio in the industry for a long time, both of us. So long, we both have roots in public radio. And so we have both been privy to watching podcasts come onto the scene and like bonanza bonkers, go crazy with lots of money poured into it, become a legitimate industry. And we're also now, as Jane was saying in the last session, we're watching things constrict a little bit. Things are, some say, falling apart. Shows are getting canceled. Really, can I just say, fucking talented people are losing their jobs. And so it's a moment that's, I think an existential moment for podcasting right now. And as Erica was talking to the spirit of independent media, it's a really important time to rebuild and remember what we're all doing it for. So, John and I started talking earlier this year, commiserating, sharing stories about our kids, and we also started comparing notes about all of the important things that we felt were getting lost in all this industry noise.
So we started conspiring, thinking like, what can we do that could play some part? And again, just sort of like pushing back against this sort of industry implosion. But the things that we felt like that were getting lost, personal storytelling that takes time to tell and takes risks, art in audio, experimentation in audio, and craft. A lot of the high craft stuff was sort of getting pushed off the table. And we're not going to be able to cure all those things right away, but what we really wanted to do was sort of make a space where some of these things could live and where creators could come to experiment and play.
So we were thinking like, yeah, by next year we both have to do other work, like we'll put this thing together. But then with IMI's support, we were able to like supercharge the Audioflux adventure, and we just jumped at the chance because the time is really now for podcasting to have spaces to play. So we invented Audioflux, got a logo, got a website. And at its core, Audioflux is an open collaboration. This is the we moment for podcasting. Forget the I and the he and the she and the they. This is the we moment in podcasting. So it's an open collaboration that is fueled by very short audio works, 3 minutes each. We'll be commissioning and we'll be inviting anyone and everyone to participate. We're talking first-timers, long-timers, everyone. YouTubers. Anyone, everyone is welcome to get involved with Audioflux. And what we do is all of these short pieces are responding to a set of rules. So every time we send out a call out and say, here are the rules, send us your 3-minute piece.
Okay, so I'm going to run through the rules for this, because what we're going to do, like Julie said, we're all going to listen together, which is something that even in audio conferences doesn't happen enough. So we're actually going to do like a 20-minute video where you're going to hear all 6 of the Fluxworks, and all 6 of the audio makers are here. So I'm going to tell you sort of what the rules were for this first circuit. Okay, so the first rule, as Julie said, short form, 3 minutes, can't be longer than 3 minutes. And then can we get up the slide with the prompt illustrations? We partnered, for each circuit we want to have a creative partner who sort of helps us design the prompts. And so for this one we partnered, where is Wendy? The incredible Wendy McNaughton. Wendy is an artist, graphic journalist. Her work lives at the intersection of drawing, social work, community building, and storytelling. Like pretty much like a natural fit. These are all things that we wanted to bring into Audioflux. So
I have to say, I was trying to explain to Wendy, I was like very nervous because I'm a big fan. We've only met in person yesterday. And I was like, okay, we've got this idea, and you're basically like, I'm in.
Yeah.
Like I didn't even have to finish the whole thing. She was so down from the start because she does the very same thing, drawing people together through art and practice and collaborative efforts. Sorry.
So we had one call. We were like, how long is it going to take to come with the prompts? One call. I was in a car in Wisconsin in a parking lot. Julie was at home. Wendy was at home. And we came up with these prompts very quickly. So the first one, 3 minutes. And then we wanted to have some prompt images. So these are 3 images that came from Wendy's archive. These are unpublished images. And so the idea is that each of the makers has to pick one of these 3 to, we say, broadly but audibly take inspiration from. So as you listen to the 6, sort of be listening to see if one of these pops in. And I didn't bring it up, but Wendy, the third prompt, had to hit on the theme of letting go. Wendy made this incredible book, How to Say Goodbye, that was based on time she spent as an artist in residence at a hospice center. It's absolutely gorgeous and beautiful and just like an amazing, amazing gift to the world. And so we said, all right, that's going to be the theme, letting go. And again, we didn't say what, just letting go. Bring that in. So you're going to be listening for that as well. And then the 4th rule was that everyone had to use one piece of archival audio. Again, these are from Wendy's archive. And so then the audio makers picked a piece of audio that was at least 3 years old from their personal archive that, again, will be worked into the piece.
So for this round, we've commissioned 6 pieces, and you're going to get to hear them, and all of the producers are here. Wendy is here. That is a big part of what Audioflux is about, bringing people together to celebrate this work. And it's just the beginning, because, of course, it's all going to end up in a podcast. We're working on that. But we really want to play with this idea of taking this work out into the world and bringing people together to listen and really growing, expanding the field of makers out there.
Yes. And so, okay, so I'm going to set up the video, which we're about to hear, just so you know what you're going to get. You're going to hear brief intros from each maker, just sort of setting up a very little bit about what the piece is about. You'll see the title of the piece, and then the screen will go dark. And then if you've been to an audio conference, people, the typical listening position is the head goes down about 17 degrees to the right. And then if you've glasses, you take the glasses off and close your eyes. But the screen will go dark, so there's nothing to see. Just enjoy listening together. And then, this is one of the coolest parts about this project that hopefully we'll talk about a little bit more later. After the piece, you will see another image come up, another piece of art that Wendy did. She did response images. So she had the prompt images, and then after the pieces were done, she listened and then created a response image. So you will see that work after each piece. All 6 will play in a row, and we can just sort of listen quietly and hold applause till the end, but react and really enjoy it. So anything else we need to say before we hit play?
I just like to give people a sense of what's coming. The video is about 22 minutes, so but they go, they're 3 minutes each with a little time in between. Don't forget to be thinking about, they're all winners to us, but you do get to pick a favorite child. So keep that in mind. We'll show a QR code at the very end of the session. And no, we're so proud and honored to be sharing all of this work with you. Very proud of our creators who joined us for this inaugural circuit. And let's hear some beautiful pieces, yeah?
And we will bring the makers up afterward, too. There'll be a little panel. We'll talk about the process a little bit, and then hopefully there'll be time for questions. So if you have a question or anything that comes up, hold on to it. But I think we're good. We'll step off stage and enjoy the listening.
Hey, it's Gregory. You know how they say that letting go is as much about giving up what you have as accepting what you don't have? Well, this is a sort of ghost story, but it's true, about an eerie sonic visitation that taught that lesson to our family. So a few years ago, this thing happened to my wife, Sana. She'd be meditating or reading a book, and she'd hear a sound. A kind of ghostly tone just above and behind her right ear.
As though someone were reading over my shoulder with me and delighting in it along with me.
An odd but delightful thing at a time when delight was in short supply. The pandemic's first spring. Sana's mind on high alert, schools closed, death and doom on the news. one tiny home office for the two of us.
I was trying to get work done, and you were always on the phone in interviews.
But the tone was
Like a place that I could go to. It was like a dome I could enter that was almost insulated by static. It let me let go of all this high cortisol shit.
And the tone could also tune her in to the most everyday moments. Our kid practicing piano.
Every note was almost like a pebble thrown into a lake in such a way that it created these musical ripples.
Wow, you never told me this.
Well, because, it wasn't what I thought it was.
The tone, not what she thought it was. Deep inside your inner ear are these special hair cells, cilia, that float in fluid like a field of seaweed. They're tuned to different frequencies. If some of these little hairs are damaged by loud noise or by a virus,
now that frequency or that range of frequencies that used to be there is not there anymore.
Dr. Jim Henry is a pioneer of research in tinnitus.
And the brain is in a steady state most of the time. So now it's got this loss.
The brain, he says, can respond to this loss of hearing by
overcompensating, by upping its activity.
Filling in the missing frequencies, like a phantom limb. Tinnitus is the sound of the brain's refusal to let go of what it once had.
Yeah, I got my diagnosis and I cried on my way home. I always had in the back of my mind, like, yeah, you could be reaching enlightenment or you could just be going deaf. And I just chose to believe in the former.
She knows now it's a symptom. But still, these days when she's reading or concentrating on something beautiful,
When words turn into images in your mind, the tones come back.
for her the tones are still a sign that she's attained some mental quiet. She's paying attention to what is here, even if the sound that she is actually listening to is just the brain's song of grief for what is gone.
Hello. My name is Yoei Shaw, and ever since NPR canceled my show, Invisibilia, and laid 10% of us off in March, I've had this problem. Among many problems, but this is one of them. To cry or not to cry in your layoff meeting? 'Tis one of the questions we joked about on Union Slack the day before we found out who was on the list. Do you let the tears flow and do what you can to traumatize the person handing you the pink slip? Or do you hold back and try not to let them see you sweat? I was in the no cry camp, even came up with a drinking game, 1 shot for every time I broke, because, blech, I hate shots. And I cried 7 times. And no, I didn't do 7 shots, but I haven't stopped crying in the 7 months since. At birthday parties, conferences, even a PowerPoint presentation.
Yoei has a lot of these slides left. I don't know if Yoei will get through them.
And of course, with my friends, who I can always count on to make me feel better.
I think you're the person I've seen cry the most. Other than like a baby or something.
I'm fine with crying, but at this point, it's getting ridiculous. It's also just highly inconvenient for trying to get a job.
And that's gendered.
I wanted to see what would happen with my grief if I talked to the people I've cried in front of and challenged them to make me cry again. On purpose. And this time, I'd let the tears rip while wearing Maybelline Great Lash Mascara for dramatique effect.
I've never tried to make anyone cry before.
Are you asking us to bully you?
I'm nervous.
I'd rather not.
Okay, ready? The talk has started.
Okay, I'm gonna use the method I use on myself.
Thomas made me watch the Thai life insurance commercial he uses to cry. I feel nothing. My sister Yolande tried the family dog death route.
Banana, what was your initial reaction when you heard?
I do miss Banana snoring. This is not working, so. Other people went for the jugular.
you are disposable.
Things could have been different if you had acted differently.
That part feels emotional to you, the precarity.
Oh, time's up.
I think not succeeding actually says more about your emotional state than our ability to make you cry.
Yeah, I'm tired of crying. But later that week, I talked to Laura, a podcast exec I'd sniffled in front of the first time we met.
I tickled my daughter until she's cried and then felt very bad about it. So I'm not going to do that to you for a number of reasons. Do you think that you're worthy of the work that you want to do?
Oh, wow. We're already starting. It's really surprised me how much this has messed with my confidence.
Yeah, that's just the sense that I'm getting. And it makes me sad because you should feel worthy of the work that you're doing.
Yeah, that means a lot. Laura, I think you have won the experiment. There are tears.
Oh.
We're getting some mascara run.
But I mean it.
That was really, that felt nice, actually.
Hi, I'm Megan. I know we're supposed to say something about our pieces, but I'd like for you to hear mine without any context. I'm curious what connections you guys make on your own. Enjoy.
Good morning. Is this Megan?
Hi, yeah.
Hi.
Is this Wendy?
Yep. Yes, ma'am.
Oh.
Wanted to know, was there anything that you really wanted to discuss?
I'm really curious about what my mission in life is.
Yes.
Maria is a character in a comic book, a name in an opera, a face in a film. Her mother made tortillas from scratch and taught her the language of Mazatec. Her father's lineage would define her path, but he would never see it unfold. He died when she was 3.
And this is something that you need to understand, Megan. When you stone on the things that aren't going well, then you are consumed with the negativity and lose empowerment. And you lose.
At 14, Maria became a wife, and then a mother, and then a widow, and then an injured woman at the hands of a man overflowing with envy and anger.
And that one really made you shrink and decline because you weren't trying to say that you are better than them. You were trying to say, I matter. But they made you.
In June of 1955, she shared her gift with the vice president of J.P. Morgan and Company. He wrote about her in Life magazine. He gave her gift to the world without her permission.
You're looking at things saying, okay, this has to be fixed and then I'll be happy. We want to say, be happy first and the things will become fixed. But it's easier.
The world forgets her name, but not the men who visited her. John Lennon, Walt Disney, Bob Dylan. They wanted her keys to an unlocked door.
So let us take a smart look at your internal being, Megan. So my mission in life, truly, honestly, is to feel better of being of servitude and of gratitude.
Wow.
Those are the most important.
She never wanted attention or money. She gave her gift freely, but her neighbors became angry, and her neighbors' neighbors became angrier. They burned down her house, killed her son, arrested her, because her gift was too strong.
When we say servitude, it does not mean becoming a slave, and it does not mean that you are belligerent or that you are less than. That's why we brought up.
Pieces of her are now found in capsules in parts of the world she would never meet. Her gift has helped people let go of their depression, their anxiety. Maria died at 91 on a mountainside of Oaxaca, surrounded by the things people gave her in exchange for the peace she gave them.
Like, girlfriend, you really did it because you are exactly on the path that you're supposed to be on. All you need to do is now begin to manifest.
Maria Sabina is the woman who introduced psilocybin mushrooms to the world.
Woohoo! That's it!
Hi, my name is Chloe Persinos, and I was inspired to make a piece about my yaya, my grandmother on my dad's side. I wanted to make something that captured what it felt like to watch her slowly let go of language.
You're filming?
Yep.
Yaya's house is my favorite place.
Now, if I want to stop this thing, I just press the button again,
You
right?
can zoom in.
When we visit, I sleep in the same room that my dad slept in as a child.
This is telephoto. We'll go the other way.
I got it.
Yaya is a virtuosic baker.
There we go.
She makes trays and trays of spanakopita and Greek cookies for Easter.
Look at this.
And she's a painter. My favorite is an abstract piece, a study in blue.
What is she doing? Michael.
She's an easy laugh,
Is that a rag doll?
the life of the party.
All right, Tree Fun, zoom me out again.
Okay, now, let's see.
The years go by. Yaya is older now.
What kind of things we get? You know who's in right?
I'm losing my words, Yaya tells us.
Okay, but you're doing two in the
She decides to leave her home. She agrees to hand over her car keys. In the nursing home, she starts to get scared, suspicious. One day, she barricades herself in her room. Another day, she walks out, flags down a car, tries to find her words. She's transferred upstairs, where the doors are locked. I sit with Yaya and I hold her hand, and yet it feels like she's slipping away as the dementia pulls her under. Her words go completely.
Happy birthday to a.
Lost.
Say love you. Why you weeby belly boy?
Are you the queen?
We find ways to connect.
How are you today? Oh, yes. No. We really can't do it.
We sing.
Oh, you want that what you want is in a magnitude to a bit bigger. Go.
We play.
Are you a squirrel?
I have some little smells.
Really?
And then now you put me in a
There are these moments of lucidity. It's like she comes up to the surface. It happens the last time I see Yaya, though I didn't know it was the last time then. She throws her arms open, pulls me in close, runs her hand over my hair, and she says,
I love you.
I love you. The last 3 words left.
Hey, I'm Mathilde, and this is my attempt to unlock feelings that are stuck somewhere between my chest and my throat with the help of a little plot conceit.
What if to unlock it, you need to imagine that you're falling asleep and you're about to have one of those dreams where a wave crashes into you.
And action. Wow. Okay. It's like I'm holding my breath. I'm holding it. That's the opposite. Okay, can do it. Not good at all. Good little cave. Huh.
Hey, I'm Aaron, and I really enjoy psychedelics. Psilocybin in particular has been so incredibly helpful in letting go of past traumas, sifting through really challenging feelings, and just having fun. I keep a psychedelic journal where I just write down how I'm feeling, when I'm feeling it, I scribble, I draw, and this is an audio recreation of me reading from 3 of those journals. Hope you enjoy. December 26, 2021, upstate New York, 3 grams of dried magic mushrooms. The friend who gave these to me says they're called pink buffalo. Here is Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, and Tony Award-winning comedian Whoopi Goldberg capturing my reaction to this name.
Okay.
11 a.m., empty stomach with a thick dollop of peanut butter on a spoon. Here we go. Plants and music, both swaying. Emotional, erotic, tender, a journey of what matters most to me. Trust, friendship. There are 2 of me. Incense is burning. McDonald's double quarter pounder within arm's length. Is my plant trying to hook up with me? Wow, I'm flirting with a plant. I should text my friends. Rajesh.
Hi, baby.
Denny.
Okay, wait.
Jasmine.
I was so stupidly high.
I come back to Earth with a takeaway that feels like it should be on an Instagram infographic. Life is a road, and I know how to drive. Here's Whoopi again.
Okay.
April 13th, 2023, New Hampshire. 3.5 grams and 3 microdose capsules. I walk a trail to a pond. I lay back onto the crunchy grass and forget my cares, but then remember that I'm forgetting my cares. I cast my arms to the sky and ask for silence. And I get it. How nice it would be for every chapter of life to have a neat end, instead of one careening into the next with guts and scars and unfinished drafts strewn behind you as you slouch toward the Brooklyn Queens Expressway. I'm forgetting who I am, and so I yell it.
I'm Aaron!
I'm black, I'm Jamaican, I'm kind, I can be stubborn. I have beautiful friends.
Love you so much.
In another life, I think I was a spaceship in Galaga. I have a nice butt. September 24th, 2023, NRG Stadium in Houston, Texas. I don't know how much I take this time. It's a small, chewy chocolate that Ahmad hands me a few minutes before we see. I feel the sensation of watching her and of watching myself. She asks us to remember this moment, to remember who we're with, to release our anger, our minds, and our stress. When I was diagnosed with OCD 3 years ago, I started taking mushrooms as a way to sift through the noise in my head, the onslaught of intrusive thoughts and regrets, the replaying of every time I felt like I've fallen short. At this concert, I feel for the first time in a long time, release. But I realize the victory here is knowing that all feelings must come and all feelings must go, and we are rarely in control of when. Whoopi? Whoopi, are you there?
Okay.
Awesome. Thanks.
Check, check, check. All right. Give it up one more time for all of the Flux works. And now we're going to bring up all of the audio makers. Give us a second. We'll get chairs. Oh, I think we're all going to sit up there at the same time. Yeah. In the end? Sure. Oh, wait, they're coming. Okay.
You can do a lot in 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Surprisingly.
You guys want to come up? Yeah, okay.
Come on up. Come on up.
Are you going to do the...
We're going to start with the... Okay, so we have been joking that we're going to have a very calm and organized interview, Q&A with 9 people in a half hour. So you are going to get to hear from everyone, but we actually wanted to do a little icebreaker just to make sure everyone's voice is in the mix right away. And are Elaine and Stuart in here? Okay. We would also like for you to participate, so please come up if you could. Or you can shout from where you are. And then the audience, there's an audience participation thing too. Now don't worry, if I'm not into that usually, but this is really easy and simple and fun. So this is a little thing that we like to call this or that. Maybe you've heard of it. It's so easy, guys. They don't know what's about to happen. I'm just gonna say, we're gonna say 2 words, and you just don't overthink it, just tell us which word speaks to you more. What resonates with you. You just gotta pick a word.
Just shout it out.
And we'll go in order, not at the same time. So here's the thing, we're gonna go down the line, really lightning quick. Elaine's gonna shout out hers. Stuart, if he's here, will shout out his. And then at the audience, 1, 2, 3, you just pick your thing. We're just gonna make some noise together. What? No,
It'll be a this or that.
Yeah, we're gonna give you 2 words to choose from. So
we got this, guys.
You'll catch on. It's gonna be easy. Okay, we're gonna start easy, softball here. Lemon or lime?
Lime.
Lemon.
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 Definitely lemon.
Lemon.
1, 2, 3.
Whoa, limes have it. I think the limes have it. All right, we'll come back this way in the next one. The microphone's just going to keep going. Okay.
Calculator or compass?
Oh, compass.
Calculator.
Ooh, calculator.
Compass.
Compass.
Compass. Compass.
Oh, I'm definitely a calculator, TI-85 with Tetris on it. Yeah, thank you.
Compass. Stuart?
Wow, okay, limes and calculators.
Fun. Just a few more. Australia or New Zealand?
Oh, Australia, I have a good friend.
Australia. New Zealand.
New Zealand.
New Zealand. I don't know.
I'm sorry, New Zealand, yeah.
Australia.
Australia.
New Zealand, big time for me. Okay,
Australia.
Just a couple more. Just so much fun. Okay, John Cage or John Lennon?
John Cage or John Lennon? John Lennon.
John Cage.
Lennon.
Lennon, John Lennon.
John Lennon.
Lennon.
Cage.
John Cage.
All right. You want to do it?
Which one? Do you want to do the hot take one, or do we want to do? Let's do this one quick. Beyonce or Taylor Swift?
I don't think there's a competition, but Beyonce.
Beyonce.
Sorry, I didn't hear the other one. Beyonce. Sorry. Oh my God.
I refuse to entertain this question. It's Beyonce. Sorry.
Yeah, Beyonce.
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 All right, we'll take that one off the list. That was not even a thing.
Okay, just two more. Thank you for humoring. This is very fun. You can interpret this however you want. Crunchy or smooth?
Oh, I'm crunchy.
Smooth, baby.
Crunchy.
Crunchy.
Smooth.
Smooth.
Crunchy.
Crunchy.
Okay, last one. This is the hot take. What happens today stays in the room, right? This American Life or Radiolab?
Radiolab.
It's American Life.
Radiolab.
This American Life.
Radiolab.
Radiolab.
This American Life.
Radiolab.
We love them both, obviously. Okay, so thank you for that. Now we're going to just get into some conversations about what we just saw and heard. We are going to talk to Wendy first, and then we have 3 questions to ask 2 producers each. So you're going to hear from everyone, and then we have some surprises at the end. So, Wendy, thank you. I can't say it enough.
Fun.
Let's
Thank
hear
you
it
so
for
much.
Wendy McNaughton.
Thank you. You guys are the best.
Look at this
So
work.
fun.
We were immediately wondering, what were you listening for in responding, and how can you tell us your process for the listening and then like sitting down to draw something?
Yeah, first of all, this was so fun. Doing kind of audio-visual collaboration is a new thing for me. It's really fun. Usually I'm drawing things that are inspired by visuals, and so kind of closing my eyes and listening through once. That's how I started, was by just taking the story in. And then I listened a second time and made copious kind of notes, but some of the notes were very visual, like sound waves, for like the waves, the sound of the waves. That came kind of abstract. And then some were like a portrait. I like Whoopi. I mean, come on, of course, like I did a quick sketch of Whoopi. So kind of like whatever came to my mind. Okay. Okay. And then I kind of went from there. Yeah. And did the drawing that, like, of all the sketches that I made, I chose the one that really popped to me and felt most connected with what I'd heard and felt in the first one. And then that's what appeared.
We joked with Wendy, like, you can't spend a lot of time on these, there's 6 of them, so like you get 3 minutes to match the duration of the piece. How long would you say you spent on each one? Probably longer than 3.
I've listened through a couple times, and then I probably spent anywhere from 5 minutes to a half hour drawing each one. Yeah.
And I have a lot more questions, but with the time limit, the last one. Do the stories sound different to you after you've drawn the response images, or do you hear them differently?
I think the first and the second time I heard them differently. The first time was like this kind of emotional landing, The second time I was listening for details, so it was more of like a deep listen, right? And became much more visual. And then this was the third time I listened to it, so it was kind of this synthesis of seeing it. It was really cool to hear and then see the pictures together and become this kind of magical third thing, which is really awesome.
Thank you so much. I want to invite everyone, we didn't mention, but all the pieces are on the website now, audioflux.org, so you can go back and hear them. Now you've seen the images also, and maybe they'll sound different to you too. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the producer questions, and I'm going to ask you all, we're going to start with Chloe and Megan. Chloe did A Study in Blue, Chloe Prasinos, and Megan Tan, Keys to an Unlocked Door. Your question is going to be this. So part of the goal of Audioflux is to create a playground where people can really experiment with what they're doing in audio, whether they're trying it for the first time or whether they're accomplished producers trying something new. So my question for you is, what were you able to, or what did you try that's different in your Flux work than from your usual work? And if you could, before you answer, just identify the image you were inspired by and what you used for your archival tape, just so we can let folks in on the secrets.
I'll go. Hi, everybody. I'm Chloe Prasinos. I made A Study in Blue, the piece about my grandmother. I was inspired by the image of the keys that Wendy drew. Was that all you asked?
Oh, what was your archival tape?
And I was a little sneaky with it. I recorded ambience of the nursing home that my yaya eventually lived in, but back when my papu lived there. And so when you're hearing her like pounding on the door trying to escape, that's the ambience from the same space. And then in terms of what like I was kind of trying or pushing myself to try with this piece is that I know for some of the YouTubers here, this like might be surprising, but I've never made a personal piece. Kind of the way I've like built my career and made my money is to, produce, sometimes report, and, I'm the voice of this story, but oftentimes I'm producing and helping facilitate someone else's vision. And so the experience of turning the camera on myself and on my family was a new one for me, and I'm usually really good at getting feedback, but when John and Julie sent me notes, I was like, I'm gonna need a day. Not because they weren't good notes, they were great notes, but just I was like scared to pull one thread, and like, break it or something because I was attached to the work in like a different way. So I made a personal piece and I tried to really center the tape. I tried to make my writing as small and simple as possible. That's what I challenged myself to do.
Congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
I'm Megan Tan. I did Keys to an Unlocked Door. So the keys part is what I was inspired by you, Wendy. And then a lot of my work has been very much about my life and very memoir-y. So I wanted to, so what I tend to do is I watch movies and then I'm like, ooh, can I do that in audio? And so I don't know if you guys have ever seen the movie Warrior, but it's about these two brothers who are cage fighters and they end up fighting each other. And there's this one scene where, and I'm sure we've seen this in many films, there's like a lot of, the emotion is in the music, but the visuals are very violent, right? And so I was like, I wonder if I can put two stories on top of each other and just see what happens. And so that's what I did. I did a profile historical piece about Maria Sabina, who introduced psilocybin mushrooms to the world, which I thought it was very interesting that our pieces are talking to each other. And then I ended up getting a psychic reading, and so I put that underneath of her historical story. And the part that was archival is you kind of hear in the beginning and at the end, I'm walking in the forest. So that was from 3 years ago.
Okay, the next question is for Gregory and for Mathilde. So we want to talk the short form too. Obviously we heard like a whole bunch of different approaches to this, and sort of the density of language in some, the density of tape, the space around it. So we wanted to ask the two of you, how did that play? How did the 3-minute form sort of, how did you work with that?
Yeah. Well, thanks, guys, for putting this together. Thanks for listening to all this. So I think, I don't know if you've ever done this experiment with, it really works well with Disney movies. You can literally go to the exact midpoint of the movie, plus or minus maybe 30 seconds, 40 seconds. It's really pretty airtight. And that is where the major turn of the story happens. And so usually in the stories that I do, there's 2 turns, and usually the way I think of 2 turns, like a turn is like a perspective shift, and one, like in a rough translation story, is like the turn where you learn something about the world, and then the second turn is you learn something about yourself. But in this way, the 2 turns were, one, that my wife realizes that her mystical experience is actually an oncoming deafness, but then the second is where she decides that actually a symptom can also be a sign. And so one happens at the exact 50% mark. I think it's actually 48 because I had to move things around. And then the next turn is at 97. So yeah, I guess I enjoy that kind of the math of it.
I think for me, right away, I was like, when I was telling friends about this 3-minute prompt, people were like freaking out. They were like, 3 minutes seems so short. How are you gonna do this? And I was like, no, 3 minutes is actually a lot of time, because I used to work on this show for kids called Chompers, and it was a twice daily toothbrushing show, 2 to 3 minute long. And so you can do a lot within 3 minutes, but I think right away the challenge for this was to make a piece that wouldn't feel confined to those 3 minutes, to this 3-minute format. And so, I don't know, I think pretty quickly I focused on how I could do this, on focusing on show, not tell. I was gonna say show and tell. Show, not tell, and how do you do this in 3 minutes? So I think that's kind of like how I did this.
And if I can share, like your first draft actually came in short.
Right.
Like everyone else's were long, but like yours were short. We're like, oh, you gotta bump it up to closer to 3. So I thought that was so interesting.
Oh, and also just mention what piece of archival tape, and then also which of the prompt images.
Yes, sorry. So the drawing was the keys, so to unlock those feelings. And the other question, what was it?
What was the piece of archival tape?
Yeah, the bird singing.
I was quite inspired by Wendy's drawing of the figure who's lying and her face is covered by the book she's reading. And the book has this very passionate title, "You Can Go Now," and yet the character is just lying there and doesn't seem capable of much action or agency at all. And that was very similar to how I sort of felt in the months after getting fired from NPR, because there was a feeling, respect, of just that, that I felt the need and the kind of importance of taking advantage or sort of taking ownership of a moment. And really, the idea of letting go feels so important, to turn something that's happened to you into something that you've claimed. So that was my thinking about how to do that in sound, and that's when I thought about this story of tinnitus. The archival piece was a recording of my son playing piano.
It's amazing how the pieces talk to each other, as you pointed out. Okay, the last question is for Aaron and Yoe. And as we said, a real intention for Audioflux is to bring people into a space to listen to work together. So I'm just wondering, we work usually by ourselves with headphones in a closet, or how did it feel to sit here and amongst people, feel them, hearing your pieces all together? Start with Aaron, and then we'll go to Yoe.
Cool. So I'll get the other questions out of the way. I was inspired by the reader, the person reading the book, and you see the second person's feet, sort of, it's just such an intimate image, and it implies the existence of someone else that you can't quite see. And I was just really moved by it. And the archival tape is actually all over the piece. The story is a lot of voice memos in it, so a lot of those voice memos are from friends of mine, different parts of our friendship. It was incredible to hear you all hear our pieces. I feel so lucky to be able to share work with anyone, and to be in a room like this and hear you all respond to it is really meaningful. I also love making people laugh. So it was really nice to hear you laugh.
Yeah.
So that was really special. Yeah.
From laughing to crying.
Hi, I'm Yoe. I'll get my questions out of the way. I was inspired by the same image, the reader. The part of the image that spoke to me was the person holding the other person's feet in bed, and it made me think of all the many people who have delicately held my tears since my layoff. And then my archival tape was like just some cute snoring from my dog Banana, who passed a while ago. You know, I thought that I would feel more, I'm used to doing personal stories, so I thought I would be more chill about experiencing that with all of you. But I found myself shrinking in my seat. I was surprised by that. So I feel a couple of different ways. I've been doing a lot of research on layoffs. There's a lot of interesting research about it. And there's stigma around being laid off. There's like actually research that shows that there's hiring discrimination against people who've been laid off. And so like part of me is wondering like, how do you all view me right now, you know, after knowing this about me? And then I'm also thinking about like something my husband said to me recently. He was like, you should really try not to make being laid off your whole personality. And I don't know. So I don't think I'm doing so well in that. I feel like it was really nice to, there's one fun fact that I learned about that didn't make it in the piece. So emotional tears are apparently different from tears that you get when chopping onions. And there's a higher protein content in emotional tears that make them more viscous. And one hypothesis is that they're more viscous and then they stick to your skin so that they run down your face more slowly so that they're more likely to be seen by other people. And so, in a way, I feel like I'm satisfying some deep evolutionary need of mine for my tears to be seen by all of you.
Amazing, thank you.
We're sort of coming towards the end of our clock.
Let's do the last question real quick. Or no, let's skip it.
Yeah.
Okay. We're gonna go right to your surprise coda PS. So another thing we've mentioned is, you know, Audioflux is really about bringing people together, and a big part of that is bringing a cohort of producers together to have a shared experience that isn't formed around disappointment and fear and anger, which is a lot of what a lot of us have been feeling lately. So this cohort was so incredible. Like immediately everyone was there for each other, and we had an email thread, and we just became very close together over the last few months. To wit, Yoe approached John and I a couple weeks ago with an idea to do something we could all do while we were here together in Austin, a ritual of sorts.
Yes, I learned how to use power tools to make a little raft for us, and then the Audioflux crew got together in Mathilde's backyard, and we wrote down things that we wanted to let go of and on pieces of paper, put it on the raft, and then Hunter, can you cue the video for us? And then we set it all on fire while listening to Let It Go from Frozen, naturally. And yeah, that's what we did. And the one thing that we wanted to, as one final nod to the theme of letting go and to the IMI Fest theme of
seizing back agency, we wanted to do something that all audio people have nightmares about. We recorded the audio, naturally, and we are going to delete the tape right now. We're going to destroy the audio recording.
And
John?
I have to tell you that this was sort of like our plan. We're like, we're going to do a ritual, we're going to delete the audio. And then we recorded everybody saying their thing. And then immediately, like 3 people are like, we can't delete this. Like immediate remorse, like we can't do that. It's like the cardinal rule. But the audio has been deleted from all computers and devices, and the only copy remaining is on this SD card, which I am now going to attempt to break with my bare hands on stage.
Wait, should we have a 3, 2, 1? Yeah. Oh, no, we got to do it. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Wow, that's so satisfying.
Thank you so much for listening and sharing this experience with us. I'm still going.
It's gone. Okay. I feel like I should break it into 6 pieces. This is like some kind of weird.
We'll all wear like a locket.
We can eat it.
You can hear the pieces audioflux.org, and I think there's a QR code here. Please scan the QR code and enter your choice for audience choice of the Fluxworks. All right, good.
That's it. You guys,
Thanks
thank
all.
you so much.
Thank you.
Audio!